Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on April 29, 2026. It's been raining here. I'm not complaining about the rain. We absolutely needed some rain, but, I wish it would have rained on a different day. But anyway, let's see what we've got going on here. Well, I received an anonymous kind of 732 area code phone call this morning. 732 is the Exchange for Freehold, New Jersey, Manalapan, New Jersey. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's the Superior Court calling me back because I processed something online to get my divorce decree from 26 years ago because the criminals deleted it from my laptop. There's nowhere to be found. How do I not have a copy of my divorce decree in all of my files? Deleted. So I had to order another copy, and I thought, well, maybe that's who they were. But no, there was some man, probably either a copper or a detective or an FBI criminal, calling me up to ask me about a feral cat, asking about a cat. And it's like I calmly told him that I haven't lived there in almost 7 years and I couldn't help him. And he said, well, okay, can I call you back tomorrow? Because I couldn't locate the one woman that I might have referred him to. I just didn't remember her name. It's been a long time. I said, no, I don't think so. So after this back and forth or whatever, I did look for the woman that who lived locally, and I found her. So I called back. And of course, there's no voicemail set up, and they didn't answer the phone. And it was like literally immediately after the call ended. So it was somebody searching 732 area code, but I thought everybody might want to hear this kind of news here. Now, this is an article. I haven't read the entire article yet, but this is really important, not only for targeted people, for all Americans, okay? There's a new 1.5 trillion, not million, not billion, $1 trillion annual Pentagon, which is the DoD, Department of Defense budget request. This is a 50% increase year on year. Last year was just over $1 trillion, which is another record budget. Most of it goes to weapons contractors. And mind you, we have a war going on overseas, and nobody's mentioning anything about that. Like, why are they testing directed energy weapons on the general population here, targeted individuals, when they could be using those same devices to fight the war overseas, right? So this Pentagon detailed a 1.5 trillion budget request last week. And it unveiled how it plans to spend the $1.5 trillion in the next year's defense budget, even as some lawmakers cautioned that the massive bill is unlikely to pass. So they are already spending the money, and the bill hasn't passed yet. So the nearly 50% jump in spending would fund many of President Donald Trump's new military projects, including tens of billions for the Navy, for their future Golden Fleet battleship, and the F-47 Air Force fighter jet, as well as an $18 billion for the Golden Dome missile defense. This is a multi-protection, layered, against ballistic missiles that include space sensors, ground-launched interceptors, and radars. But the request will face opposition because some Republicans have voiced concern that the size of the Pentagon budget will be hard to sell to voters at home without cuts to offset the spending. At present, about $350 billion of the total being requested by the Trump administration is being pursued through a legislative process called reconciliation, which allows that spending to be passed by the Senate with a simple 5-1 vote majority. And last year, the same mechanism was used to boost the Pentagon's requested $890 billion budget to more than $1 trillion. Right? Isn't that amazing? I'm not going to read any more of it. It just sickens me. Just absolutely sickens me. And there's no rebuttal from the public. Most of the public is not aware of where all of their tax dollars are going. So now I was looking into what is an agent of chaos, because we know that narcissists create chaos. That this program deliberately creates chaos in the life of the targeted person in every aspect of their lives. So an agent of chaos is typically a person or entity that disrupts the established order or creates disorder, often for their own purposes or simply for the sake of chaos. And I will give you an example. You know, there we have cyberstalkers that slander, defame, and libel people across all niches on YouTube. It's not just targeted people. It could be true crime creators. It could be, First Amendment auditors. It could be farmers. It could be, money managers. Every one of them complains about the trolls or the cyberstalkers that leave defamatory comments or comments that are irrelevant or trying to sell or scam them out of something. And also another kind of creature would be, if any of you guys have been in my live chat on Saturday nights from 10 to midnight, we have our resident creepy voice. The creepy voice is a man-made creepy voice that babbles in the background. Generally, when we're discussing something that hits a chord, the creepy voice's tonation increases. It babbles even more. It starts at the beginning of the chat until the end of the chat. It's created here because I have actually caught the same creepy voice speaking my name on one of my cameras, and that is actually uploaded to my channel so that you can hear it directly. I'm not making this stuff up. But that's what they do. They want to disrupt the live chat because people obviously hear it in the background. They comment on it. They're wondering why it's there. And, most people who are in the live chat frequently just ignore it. But newcomers are like, what is that sound in the background? So we've got the creepy voice in the background. We've got cyberstalkers, right? So this concept can apply in various contexts, from fictional characters like the Joker in The Dark Knight to individuals in real life who challenge norms and provoke change. So the definition of an agent of chaos is generally a person or entity that intentionally disrupts the established order and creates disorder. This disruption can occur for various reasons, including personal gain, or simply the thrill of chaos itself. So some of the well-known fictional agents of chaos are the Joker in The Dark Knight, where the character embodies chaos and challenges societal norms. You've got trickster figures in various mythologies, such as the coyote in Native American tales and Anunnaki, the spider in African folklore, who also represents chaos. And speaking of coyote, thank you, subscriber, who mentioned that the skull, or I should say the lower jaw skeletal feature that I located on my property that I cross over this area almost every day, was planted there last week, and I posted a photo on my post section on the community page. Subscriber said that it appears to be a coyote jaw. So yes, so coyote is a trickster, and then in real life applications, they're just the usual disruptors in society. These are individuals who challenge norms and provoke change, and there's nothing wrong with change, but provoking it, that would be problematic, don't you think? Like, if somebody wants to change, they'll change on their own. And in the business context and organization, chaos agents may question existing processes and systems, prompting necessary changes or improvements. So some of the characteristics of these chaos agents are that they disrupt, they create disorder, often leading to unexpected outcomes. They provoke. They're provocateurs. Their actions can provoke thought and discussion, challenging the status quo, but generally the provocateurs are harassing people. Okay, and then of course some are just do it out of curiosity. They like to explore, like what will happen when I disrupt, like when I disrupt the chat. How is that person going to respond to me, right? So then of course we've got cyberstalkers and narcissists. They often engage in digital harassment. They use the online platforms to control, intimidate, and humiliate their victims. They did this to Michaela Raines, founder of SaberFox. They do it to me. They do it to other YouTube creators across all niches. Their behaviors can lead to significant emotional distress and psychological harm for those targeted. Now, some of these cyberstalkers and narcissists, they do it just for the hell of it. But many of them are paid. They're paid to do it, right? They're paid cyberstalkers. They're paid agents. They're paid by private contractors, or whomever is targeting you will have it in their budget to have somebody cyberstalk you. If you've got a YouTube channel or any kind of online presence, they will sick someone on you, like a dog, like a rabid dog. They'll sick somebody on you, a cyberstalker. It's intentional harassment. So cyberstalkers and narcissists, they act as agents of chaos in the digital realm, and their behaviors are characterized by a desire to control and intimidate others. They also like to defame and slander and create false narratives. And what they do is they will weave. They will be talking about one person. They'll mention qualities or characteristics or locations of that person, but then mix that narrative with another one so that whomever is listening thinks that it's all one person, when in fact they're cutting and pasting the qualities and traits and situations of various people, weaving it together so that you cannot tell who the individual is, or to question who you think it is. Okay? And this leads to significant emotional and psychological harm to the victims. And they don't care because they're there to victimize people. And then whatever you say, if you say anything about them, the way the narcissists are, they will think that they'll strike back at you and very maliciously and then project everything back onto you. So some of the characteristics of these disgusting cyberstalkers is that they intentionally harass you to instill fear and distress in the victim. It can occur through various digital forms, including social media, emails, or text messages. And I think I've mentioned to you that at least 2 occasions I've had these disgusting cyberstalkers, and the first thing they did, all on the same day, was send a text message, a voice message, and an email. It was at a bombardment. And meanwhile, I don't post my phone number online, right? So most true targeted people are not going to do that. Most targeted people will attempt to reach out first via email. They are not going to try to call you first. They realize that it's a violation of your privacy. So there's a psychological profile for these disgusting cyberstalkers. They exhibit traits associated with the dark triad of personality, which includes narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. These are very ill people, okay? So the emotional toll that it takes of the cyberstalking and digital harassment, it can be severe. It can lead to psychological distress. The victims may experience anxiety, depression, and symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, especially when they create videos directly about you. They'll dox you, meaning that they'll mention your location or your name or very personal information about you. They want to harass you to lead to social withdrawal, socially detracting from personal relationships. And they really want to damage your reputation. That is the goal, mostly. It's not only to cause distress, but they want to damage your reputation because they don't want you speaking the truth about what's happening to you as a targeted person. Or let's say you're in a narcissistic abusive relationship, let's say you're getting divorced or whatever. They don't want you revealing what's really going on. They want to discredit you. So they'll publish fake information, and then they actually have their flying monkeys, their fake personas. They'll have like 5, 10 different email accounts, different YouTube channels. And you know, we all have a couple of YouTube channels, but these cyberstalkers, they usually have 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 different channels, and then they all interact with each other. So they're having these bizarre conversations with each other in their own chats. And then, of course, a lot of times when they have their own channel or chats, they will prevent people from interacting, or if they do interact, they will later hide or delete, not usually delete, they'll usually hide the live stream so that it cannot be seen again. Okay, so these cyberstalkers spread false information or engage in online defamation. They harm the victim's personal and professional life, and there are legal consequences. Cyberstalking is a criminal offense in many jurisdictions with potential penalties, including restraining orders. The victims can seek legal protection against their harassers. Criminal charges, offenders may face jail time or probation depending on the severity of their actions. Okay, so I don't recommend, I have attempted to do that here. I have attempted to report it to the sheriff's department here, and they say, well, it's not their jurisdiction. Not their jurisdiction, which is false, in fact. Okay, it's not their jurisdiction. It means that they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to file a report. They don't want to follow up on it. They don't want to document it. Okay, and that has happened here for sure. Leave a comment down below. Have you ever had a cyberstalker? And if so, how did you handle it? Were you able to locate the actual identity or location of that cyberstalker? And or did you ever report your cyberstalking either to YouTube, to the YouTube legal team, or to your local police department and have an accurate incident report? Because I guarantee I don't have an accurate, I do not have an accurate incident report here, I'll tell you right now. Even when you report real criminal activity here in Jackson County, Kentucky, they falsify the reports, which is why you should always record the police. Yes, always record the police. And that's the one thing I learned from these First Amendment auditors online. Always record the police. You know why? Because they lie. They lie. And they lie. And there was one video that I watched this morning, which was really disturbing, deeply disturbing. You know how there are quotas sometimes in police departments for handing out tickets, whether it's traffic tickets, parking tickets, DUI tickets, whatever it is. They've got these DUIs because basically what they are is they make money for the county. As if they don't have enough friggin' money coming in from all the grants from gang stalking. They don't have enough money coming in from their illegal searching of your vehicle and highway theft of your personal belongings, or having their minions break into your house and steal $7,400 of items inside of your house in 2024. Or my new watch worth $90 back in January of this year. Yeah, they don't have enough money. So what they did, and what this copper did, and he actually, I think, he got penalized for this, is because he was caught on his own on his own camera, telling his other copper friends there, when they showed up at this fake DUI, they pulled over a woman who had just gotten married the night before. She blew a 0.000000000 on the breathalyzer test, and she does not drink alcohol. But nevertheless, they stuffed her in jail for the night. It literally ruins her life. She had just gotten married, and because of what they involved her with, she had to postpone some of her cancer treatments. She had to reschedule them. But caught on their cameras, the criminal copper that pulled her over said, I have to log in a DUI. Like, I don't know if the exact wording was, but it was part of his quota that he has to get a DUI. So he pulled over this innocent woman and ruined her life because that little fucker, ooh, excuse my French, he had to log in his quota for DUIs. Quotas should be abolished from every police department, every sheriff. So there should not be any quotas. They should do what they're supposed to do all the time, whatever it is. There should be no one in charge saying, in order to keep your job, you have to log in this many arrests, this many DUIs, this many traffics. That should not be permitted. Leave a comment down below if you feel that way as well. I mean, I think that was horrendous, and I felt so bad for this woman. The most joyous time of your life is getting married, walking down that aisle, and it interrupted her honeymoon, too. Just because this one copper needed to meet a DUI quota. He falsified the report. I can't wait to hear the update on this, guys. But anyway, I hope that woman sues the hell out of him. But anyway, on that note, I hope everybody's doing well, and remember that cyberstalkers and narcissists often engage in digital harassment. They use the online platforms to control, intimidate, and humiliate their victims. Their behaviors can lead to significant emotional distress and psychological harm for those who are targeted. That's key word. Targeted, right? And an agent of chaos is typically a person or entity that disrupts the established order, creates disorder for their own purposes, or just for the simple sake of chaos. And that's basically what narcissists do. They're addicted to chaos. They're adrenaline junkies, So, and also the Pentagon is requesting, this is absolutely absurd. They want a $1.5 trillion budget request. They put in that request last week. Okay? Do you think the Pentagon deserves a $1.5 trillion budget? Leave a comment down below.